morning drive. World number one Dustin Johnson sits on top of the leaderboard in Hawaii, looking to win the Tournament of Champions for the second time in his career.
For me, it's more about playing the golf course. I don't really think about leading or anything. I'm trying to go out and shoot as low a score as I can.
But with two other top-ranked players lurking close behind, we will break down the keys for DJ's success on this championship Sunday. Plus, do you wish you had wedge skills like Dustin Johnson? We're taking you in the simulator to help improve your distance control and shoot lower scores. And have the island views at the plantation course made you ready for your own Hawaiian vacation? Well, it's time to start planning as our travel expert, Matt Janella, takes you on a journey to find the best golf in Kaanapali.
This is golf in all of its glory.
All that and more is next on this Sunday, January 7th, 2018. Hey, good morning on this Sunday edition of Morning Drive. This is Studio AP, and for the first time in 2018, we get to say it's a championship Sunday on the PGA Tour. Gary Williams, Paige McKenzie, Charlie Reimer, and you know what? When a great thoroughbred gets to the top of the stretch with a lead, it is hard to chase him down, and that's the case this week.
It is hard, and we saw, though, that Dustin Johnson didn't keep his lead in the fall, so it will be an interesting Sunday for a couple of reasons, for that reason in particular.
And another one of those reasons is the weather. Today is supposed to be the worst weather that we've seen all week in terms of wind. That could be exactly what the chasers need if they're going to go out and bring Dustin Johnson down from the top of that leaderboard.
You're right, and two of the chasers, and we're going to talk about it, Ricky Fowler and Jon Rahm are not scared to chase down somebody who is the number one player in the world. Now, how about viral video to get you started on this Sunday? Little John Coliseum in Clemson. It's not Clemson. It's Clemson, Charlie.
Definitely got a P in there somewhere.
For $10,000. They pulled this kid out of the crowd.
He didn't look like he was ready to putt, but he pulled it off. Yeah, that's a pretty cool moment right there. It's pretty quick green they got right there, Little John.
A+ on the celebration as well. I appreciate how pumped the MC was, as well as the Tiger. Tiger's got hops.
No doubt. Now, Jeff Overton pulled this off in Bloomington, Indiana a couple weeks ago, but he's a former Ryder Cup member. This young man, I don't know, Charlie, based on the way he was holding that putter, I don't know how much golf he's ever played.
Well, he's pretty good on fast greens, and I bet there was maybe a little bit of a celebration after winning that 10 grand. Just my guess, knowing some of these Clemson folks. Like
I think that's an accurate assumption. All right, with that, we're just getting started. We say good morning now to Lauren Thompson. LT, how are you?
Good morning. Doing well. Not as well as that guy. $10,000, and he was wearing his slippers still. Gary, I'm pretty sure you have a pair of those at home, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. All right, well, let's move into what's happening now in golf. Starting off in Kapalua, Dustin Johnson leading the way. After 54 holes of the Century Tournament of Champions, a Saturday 66 with 6 birdies and an eagle on the Plantation Course's 12th hole. That's what got him there. He now leads the field by 2 strokes headed into today's final round. Currently in second place, though, Brian Harman at 14 under par. Now, the lefty, it's just his second start in the event, backed up 2 straight rounds of 68 with a third round 69. Also in contention, the 2017 European Tour Player of the Year in Jon Rahm. He is 4 strokes off the DJ's pace, and then 4-time PGA Tour winner Ricky Fowler. He is in a tie for 4th place at 11 under. Now, these two players, they are paired together for the final round, going off the first tee at 12:30 p.m. local time. So, Gary, let's see how that leaderboard took shape with the highlight.
We will indeed do that. The number 4 player in the world, Jon Rahm, and Charlie here on the par 5, 15th. Here's his second, and again, it's his second shot, and this lands as if it's what? A short iron?
It's a heck of a shot. It wasn't an easy shot. Ball below his feet, wind from the left, slope from left to right everywhere. Trouble left. Obviously, none of that bothered him. Quality golf shot.
Made eagle, shot 66. He's 12 under. Ricky Fowler, Paige, one of his great strengths.
Yeah, best in the on the PGA Tour last year in sand save percentage. And this, just a part of a solid round, bogey-free on the day.
He shot 68. He wanted that birdie putt on 18, but he's 11 under par. Jordan Spieth. Charlie, this has been his best club in the bag all week. His chipping has been tremendous.
Yeah, you look at that and you go, hey, big deal, PGA Tour player hitting a chip close. I'm telling you, that's not an easy shot. Against the grain, he's just been phenomenal with them.
He shot 70s and 90s at 8 under par. Johnny Vegas and Page for a while, and again, you got to wait here because of gravity, but this got very interesting.
I love this 18th hole. It's so exciting. Johnny Vegas birdied the first 2 days. This for a double eagle. Oh, nearly.
He missed that eagle putt, would make birdie, shot 70. He's in 6th at 10 under. Now, Brian Harman, Charlie, his second. This is a par 5, the 5th.
Yeah, really easy to bail this out to the left. There's a lot of trouble short and right, and there's no bailout in this. He took on a good bit of risk, and boy, did it pay off. That's a heck of a play. Pros love those kick-in eagles.
Yep, tap that in. He's at 12 under par. We stay with Brian Harman. We saw him have a little trouble here, even though he did chip in for birdie, but this is 3rd on 15.
Well, it's nice memories when you chip in and then go back to a similar location the next day. This is a pivotal shot. We'll talk more about it later in the show.
All right, he shot 69. He is 2 back at 14 under. Dustin Johnson here on the 6th. And Charlie, this is absurd, yet comical at the end, because I don't know if he asked Chris Stroud's caddy, he'll come into focus here. Will you tend the flag for me, please?
On the etiquette side, this is a blind tee shot, and no problem with DJ going ahead and hitting that ball. It isn't like it was a dangerous situation because he clearly wasn't going to fly it down there, but just gives you a little bit of an idea of how much slope there is to deal with on this hole. Downwind, you see players, and we've seen it all week, giving it a go, and that was a beauty.
He did not get up and down so he would make par. He took a lot of time, Paige, really deliberated, talked a lot to his brother Austin about where to fly this ball to, and I guess they figured it out.
Well, you can see how much green he has to work with, but you can also see how he had to land it short of the green to get it to roll in with that pace.
Wow. A 2 on 12, that got him to 13 under par. We move ahead to the 18th. And Charlie, where he's playing from on these par 5s, it's just a different ball game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he took this one deep and came in here with just this iron. We saw Johnny Vegas hit it close here. That's a ledge right there that's almost impossible to get it close to when you're coming from that far back. And just a foot or two shorter, and that ball would have been in the 10, 12, 15 foot range. That's a heck of a golf shot. But the thing that really stood out for me there, Paige, made that look easy. He's playing off a severe downhill lie with a middle or a long iron, sweet contact, and it wasn't a hard swing. You know, it doesn't look like he's swinging hard, but that ball is jumping, really striking the ball beautifully.
Yeah, after his eagle putt came up short, because that might have been the slowest putt I've ever seen in my life. He and Pat Perez both left it short. Perez made birdie as well as they shake hands as their round concluded. So Dustin Johnson, a 3rd round of 66. He's played 30 rounds, never over par on this golf course. Par 73. Brian Harman 2 back. John Rahm is 4 back. And the trends, as we'll talk about, are going to tell you he's number 1 in the world. He's going to be hard to catch based on history. But here are some thoughts from our Todd Lewis about the leader as we head into a championship Sunday.
Well, Gary, Dustin Johnson has been in total control of his golf ball since he teed it up for round number 1 here at the Plantation course. And yesterday with that beautiful 66, he is very comfortable and confident heading into the final round. It'll be his first 54-hole lead since the WGC HSBC champions when he shot a final round 77, lost the 54-hole lead ultimately to Justin Rose. I talked to DJ about what happened in China last fall. Is that going to influence him at all heading into the final round? He said no. What happened in China was a fluke. I had a brand new set of irons. I really wasn't that comfortable. He is very comfortable with his game and confident. As a matter of fact, he told me, I like my chances on Sunday here at Kapalua. Of course, he's playing alongside Brian Harman, who's coming off a very successful 2017. Brian said he's going to stick to his game plan that has worked for him the previous 3 days. He is excited to measure his game against the world's best player in Dustin Johnson. And we did have some breaking news on Saturday, and the fact that Jim Bones Mackay will be back inside the ropes working with a bag over his shoulders on the PGA Tour. He'll be working next week with Justin Thomas as Thomas tries to defend at the Sony Open in Hawaii. Here's what Bones had to say about working with Justin Thomas. He said, I think the world of Justin, and I'm really looking forward to working for him and with him next week. Should be fun to see those two together. Gary, let's go back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you. I know that Bones, he really picks poor talent to work with. These are the world number ones that have won this event. Tiger Woods 2000, Jordan Spieth 2016. I must point out, though, the official World Golf Rankings began in 1986. Jack Nicklaus won this event on 5 occasions. He was the number 1 player in the world on several occasions when he won this tournament. But nonetheless, Paige, let me start with you about Dustin Johnson. He's got this lead. You already alluded to it. Todd did as well with respect to China. But let's focus on this week.
Sure.
What stood out for you?
The lack of mistakes, I think, is the biggest thing with Dustin Johnson. I think we've seen the evolution in his golf game and just tightening everything up. He has an extra gear. We know that. He is capable of doing things with the golf ball off the tee that other players cannot do. What we've seen in the last year or 2 years is everything else has also elevated. We're seeing better chip shots. We're seeing better putts on the green.
You know, a lot of instructors will tell junior golfers, young kids in particular, let's figure out how to hit it hard and long. Let's do that first, and then we'll add the other stuff later. That's sort of what we've seen in the evolution of Dustin Johnson's career. Sure, he drives the ball beautifully. It's fun to watch. He's gotten really, really good with his wedges and touch around the greens. But I'm going to tell you what, I don't know that he gets enough credit for his putting. If you look at the way he finished that round yesterday, he made some nice putts on 15, 16, 17, 18. You know, you can talk about bombing the drivers. You can talk about the ball striking, you know, being a great athlete, being able to dunk a basketball barefoot, all that stuff. But if you don't hold putts like this, like we saw him hold coming down the stretch yesterday, you don't get to number 1 in the world. You can have a decent career on the PGA Tour, but you don't do what DJ has been able to do. He's a heck of a putter, and I like watching his body language. Here's a guy who, when he stands on the tee, you know, it's like he's armored. You know, he's sort of built like a, not as big as a linebacker, but he's a muscle guy, right?
No, he's not a linebacker.
But well, what I'm saying is, I mean, he's a tough guy. You wouldn't want to get in a fight with him. I'm real sure.
Fight anybody.
But when he gets a wedge in his hands, when he gets around the greens, when he gets on the green, it's like he gets some suppleness. You know, you look at maybe a really good shortstop. You know, they're getting balls zinged at them. A third baseman, they're getting balls zinged at them. They've got to be able to get in front of that ball and soften everything up so if it bounces off of them, it stays in front of them. They can pick it up and zoom it over to first. That's what he does. He softens his body up on the touch shots. And that's something, quite frankly, a lot of the big hitters in the history of this game haven't been able to do.
He's evolved. They showed a stat on 18 before he made that birdie putt. 125 holes without a 3-putt. One of the most dubious 3-putts in major championship golf, 2015 at Chambers Bay. He's evolved in every area, as you pointed out. All right, the guys who are going to try to reel him in. Jon Rahm, again, he did it to a lot of very good players at Torrey Pines when he won for the first time. Ricky Fowler, we know he's a great chaser, most notably at the Players. Coverage will be at 5 p.m. And Jon Rahm, Justin Thomas, no problem. Jordan Spieth, no problem. Now he gets Ricky Fowler 3 days in a row. Can he outplay 3 of the best players? Let's get some thoughts from both of these young men about their approach to trying to chase down the number 1 player in the world.
He's obviously number 1 player in the world, and that doesn't happen by chance. He's one of the best. Obviously, right now, you look back at the past 12 to 24 months, and he's the best player in the world. And he's off to a solid start here. So he's not someone that typically will come back. Very rarely in a 54-hole situation has he moved the wrong way. A lot of times he takes care of the position that he's in. So it's going to take, from the guys that are a few back, we're going to have to play well to have a chance tomorrow.
Well, I do enjoy it, but the outcome hasn't been great for me. Hopefully I can play good down the stretch like I've been doing. Like I said, just start a little bit on the front 9. Not like today was bad, bogey free 2 under is a great score, but if I can make a birdie before I get to 5, it'll be, I'll be happy.
All right, so here's the position of winners, and you can see leader or co-leader has won 11 times, 1 or 2 shots back 4 times, and again, the last 11 winners have been within 2 shots of the lead through 54 holes. So being out front is a very good position to be in. Charlie, with that being said, I pointed out, Jon Rahm, what he did at Torrey. Ricky has always been very comfortable being ahead of the leaders and posting a number. I want to go back to what you said about the conditions today. Did the conditions, being maybe the most challenging of the week, lend itself to the likelihood that they have a better chance, Rom, Fowler, and anybody else today?
I think it's very helpful. I mean, when you got the #1 player in the world on a golf course where he's very comfortable, he's never shot over par, Dustin Johnson, on
30
this golf
rounds.
course. He's never been over par. He's not going to give you much help. So what you gotta have is you gotta have some help from the conditions. I just don't see him going out and struggling. This golf course is just so easy for him in that there's so much width out there. If he's gonna get in trouble, he's gonna hit a few wayward drives. Some of these fairways are 70, 80, 90 yards wide. I just don't see him all of a sudden start blasting it away and making big numbers, unless you start getting some wins and get that golf course on the edge, out of control. You get a little bit of chaos thrown into the equation, and I think that's what the chasers need if they're going to go and bring down the #1 player in the world.
You know, the chasers also need to score. And the golf course has given up a lot of good scores over the last couple of days. The conditions obviously will be part of that equation today. John Rahm's quote about saying, "I'm trying to birdie one of the first 5 holes," that relates back to his scorecard yesterday, where you can see just how he ended his round. 5 under on his last 5 holes. This is what you can watch for today for all of the chasers, and how this drama could unfold late on Sunday is because there are such scoreable holes coming down the stretch. There could be a lot of volatility in that scoreboard, and that's a place that Dustin Johnson has to stay aggressive, or else those chasers could chase him down late.
You're exactly right. It is a sprint to the finish from 14 on, but it may be the most advantageous part of the golf course for Dustin on 14, on 16, and 2 par 5s with 15 and 18. All right, you two, go to work. It's early on a Sunday morning. Maybe many of the kids have got to go back to school tomorrow, so why don't you teach them something to get them prepared for their second semester?
You got it, Gary. And we're going to start with Jordan Spieth. This looks like a pretty easy shot that he's got out at 7, but it's really not, Paige.
Yeah, I mean, if you've never played the golf course, wedge in hand, looks like an accessible hole location, but Jordan Spieth evaluates it a little differently.
110 hole.
Yep.
I mean, no reason to be cute here. Just hit it past it and accept par at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
We're out of position. 81-10.
Correct.
Needs to fly 95.
Yep.
You heard that. 80 yards to the front, 110 to the hole location. He says, I'm going to hit it 95 yards and just take par and move on. Charlie, this is a situation where you need to know whether it's a green light situation or a red light situation. And in this case, Jordan says, I'm not going to try to even go for birdie at 110 yards. And the other thing that's important to note is that he's evaluating it from the green back to where he is. He's not evaluating it from the fairway to the hole location. He's evaluating, where do I land it first? How's the ball going to release? And that's how he's choosing to select the shot to play.
Yeah, you get a bad angle. Not even Jordan Spieth can get close to the hole from there. There's nothing wrong with trying to, as he said, hit it past the hole in a safe location and accept par. No problem with that at all. Okay, this is Dustin Johnson on 14, the par 4. This was his tee ball that he hit to this point. He's dead on flag high. He's got all of this green to work with, and he made the choice to use it. Go ahead and roll this. And this is something that he just puts back in his stance. And basically what he does with this is he gives the ball no chance to do anything except release. He made that ball release by the way he set up to it. Let's take a look at it from a little bit different angle. See how far back in his stance that ball is? Club face is coming in square, de-lofted a little bit. The hands are ahead. The ball's going to come out. You can see it not spinning at all. It's going to hit, kick up dust, and release to the hole. If you get that up in the stance, which is another way to tackle that shot, it could sometimes come out a little bit soft on you. Really nice job committing to the shot and setting up in a way that makes the ball do what you want it to do.
Important to be consistent in how you expect the ball to release. And with Brian Harman on this tee shot, we said wind is going to play a factor in this golf course. You can see just how the wind is at his back for a left-hander player. That right to left wind's very uncomfortable. For a right-handed player, the left to right wind, very uncomfortable. You can see how far he aimed to his right to allow the wind. Didn't try to fight it. That's the important thing, is when you're in that uncomfortable wind, swing confidently, but allow for the wind to take it. Don't try to fight it.
Yeah, we just sort of gloss over that 8th hole a little bit. That, I think, is the hardest hole on the golf course. Year in and year out, we see a lot of big numbers on that hole. Really cool shot right there from Brian Harman. And speaking of cool things, let's go across Studio AP to the really cool Lauren Thompson.
Oh, man, Charlie's being nice to me. He must be up to something. We're moving into our first hour tee sheet today. Our travel expert, he's not taking you to just one. He's taking you to 2 Hawaii hotspots. First up, Kaanapali. They've got great golf down pat with a layout that's hosted 50 years worth of tournaments. But see what else the sun, sand, and definitely the surf serve up to Matt Janella. And if this kind of trip is right for you and your family. And with us now, just 7 days into the new year, you may think you've heard it all when it comes to those pesky New Year's resolutions. But today, we're going to bring in a licensed clinical psychologist in studio to break down the exact factors that up your chances of success with those resolutions, as well as one thing Dr. Brett McCabe cannot help his clients with. Now, something we all want a little assistance with, playing golf like the world #1 Dustin Johnson. That's a gimme. It's what golf dreams are made of, right? So later this morning, hear his super simple philosophy on wedge play and what you are doing. You're going to be dropping in on a recent short game clinic where Charlie Reimer was taking notes, and then they're going to put all of that advice into work in the simulator. So yeah, work hard, play hard. DJ, he makes that look easy, and this could be the scene where he grabs PGA Tour title 17. Morning Drive Studio Scenics provided by Kapalua Golf.